Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. The talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me directly through Benji at alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcasts. People of Distinction is an internationally syndicated show solely due to the love and support that you all continue to show. We're available across all major podcast distributors, and like I mentioned, people, if you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. Now sit back and strap in because we are delighted to showcase this next guest on our network. And on the line with us today, we have the impressive Robert Flash Kingsley. Now we're going to be discussing Robert's incredible book, The Human's Universe, and its purpose and destiny. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, man, it's a lot of other places, but most importantly, check out robertflashkingsley.com. There, you're going to gather more information on Robert, more information on his book, hyperlinks set up to take you to the purchasing pages. Trust me when I tell you, it's a one-stop shop for everything that he has in store. Again, that's robertflashkingsley.com. And I quickly want to point out the fact that Robert was brought to us by Studio of Books. If you've written your book and now you need some assistance moving it, man, listen, I'm going to give you some fantastic advice. Head on over to studioofbooks.org and gather all of the ways that their fantastic team is going to help you do just that. People, I have a question for you, man. What if science and spirituality aren't opposing forces, but are actually two sides of the same cosmic coin? I don't know. I feel like that's a question that's worth pondering, and I think it's something that is very interesting. And in his book, The Human's Universe, you see, Robert unveils a groundbreaking vision where the latest discoveries in physics and ancient wisdom converge, revealing humanity's true purpose as co-creators of reality. You see, this isn't just a theory. It is a revolution in how we understand God, existence, and the power to shape the future. So the real question here that I'm posing, are we on the brink of a global awakening, or is civilization still asleep at the wheel? No, man. Buckle up, because this is a conversation that may just rewrite what you thought was possible. Robert, first and foremost, man, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest with us. How are you doing today, sir?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Listen, Robert, it is a pleasure to have you here, man. I think your book is remarkably compelling, okay? You're talking about something that, listen, I don't think there's anything new, right? I mean, especially when we're addressing and talking about mixing spirituality with science. All right, nothing new, but I love how you've melted these worlds together. And I think that your book is going to be a really eye-opening experience for a lot of people. So listen, we're looking forward to it. And I know we have a lot of information to cover. Thank you for writing the book. More importantly, thank you for being here with us to discuss it. Let's start off at that foundation. Robert, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background, please.
Well, I'm a fellow Christian person who's been around for quite a few years, and at one point in time, seminary came into view. As I suggested to one of my lead pastors, I was looking for a career, and he said, "Why don't you entertain going to seminary?" And I thought, well, that's kind of an idea. I got involved with that, and I found an awful lot of consternation between religious views and what was being accepted by seminarians against others of world opinion. So I said, I'm going to have to do my own research. So I started on a spiritual trail that was unbelievable 40 years ago on how to discover what we are and what is concerned about our relationship as a spiritual value to each other and where it all comes from and the universe implications involved with it.
Love that. Okay, all right. Listen, can I just point something out here? You see how he just glossed over that so quickly? right? He was so humble about it. I'm going to take a step back. I want to acknowledge something. This man just said he started this journey 40 years ago. People, listen, this is coming from a knowledgeable place. All right. It is tried and true. Robert has put in the work, and trust and believe it. Yeah, whew, man, here we go. Robert, let's jump right in. Okay. I want to go into the book now, The Human's Universe and Its Purpose and Destiny. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Okay, well, after that 40 years of research, I said to myself, well, we're going to have to make something available, a small treatise of some type for people to get involved with all the volumes and treatises and everything that I had to search through for that long. Something they could easily absorb, well written, I'm a good writer, and something that they could attach to reflect their own interests and abilities within the context of what was being presented. So as a result, I started out with the Tibetan lamas in Tibet, who were very sincere ministers and very faithful, very telepathic, very peaceful, and they're appreciated from other parts of the universe. A lot of extraterrestrials appreciate those guys because they're totally peaceful and great. That's our best representative of spirituality on this planet, as far as they're concerned. So then I branched out to other parts of universe information from the Pleiades and also Arcturians and Sirians, and was able to get contact with that. But also on our own planet, we have a great treatise that's available for anybody to see. It's all universe information given to us by celestial beings in the first third of the 20th century, called the Urantia book. And it has a lot of informative information. So in other words, all that I was collecting wasn't completely outside this realm, also on this earth too.
Oh, okay. So I'm following you here. I want to go now into inspiration. Okay, let's continue to dive deeper here. It's clear to me why this subject matter was intriguing to you. Okay, this journey began decades ago, and I'm sure as you continue to follow the research, you dive down that rabbit hole, it'll just become more and more enticing. I get that, I understand it. But this easily could have stayed on your personal shelf, Robert. I mean, you didn't have to put it out for the public. Well, let's go there next, man. I mean, what inspired you to make sure that you did?
Well, I am a pastor. And being a pastor, the subject of God and creation is very important, in those realms of teaching. Once I became an ordained pastor, I was, want to do marriages, burials, baptisms, all those kinds of things to be eligible to. And so all the information related to those subjects are very important to understand in a good, comprehensive way, which is most important to us.
Okay, well, Robert, you bring up an interesting point, man. First and foremost, you propose in your book merging science and spirituality. Again, as I mentioned before, not an original concept proposed by you, but you just mentioned that your background as a pastor. Listen, I mean, I'm sure people have been skeptics to what you're talking about, right? And maybe you've faced some backlash because of your beliefs. Well, how do you respond to the skeptics who believe that these two fields should remain separate?
I have a very good initial paragraph near the front of the book about that very thing. And what happens is, in 400 years ago, when the Catholic Church was giving their views of God and so forth, and astronomers were finding planets and finding different information out, and it was colliding, and there was separate viewpoints and stuff, and some of those guys were being burnt at the stake as a result. So God became on two different levels for 400 years until recent times. I mean, very recent times, when we go into quantum physics and find out that it's very intelligent. And the intelligence of the universe sponsors all that kind of energy. And it's all attached to us. So therefore, there's the merging factor about the subject of God, where it is and how it represents in those two areas now as a merged effect instead of diversified before.
Okay, Robert, listen, man, I love the fact that you just brought up quantum physics, right? Because listen, it's a perfect segue to my next question, because recent scientific discoveries in quantum physics, as well as others, they seem to align with this ancient spiritual concept. Well, I'm curious to know, man, during your research, which findings did you find most compelling when it comes to bridging that gap?
Well, I believe that the Urantia book, what I just previously mentioned, there's a lot of people study on this world in 26 different languages worldwide, as in just in study groups now. There's no churches for this, but it's all about the subject of God and the size of the universe and the creation thereof. And so to be able to perceive in a very, very strong nature, as it's written to us, how that all is put together, how it looks, how it works, how we're affected by it, and our response in it as a member of the entire creation makes it very interesting to perceive how that works and why. And I figure people be interested in that.
Absolutely. What people listen, I know you're interested in it, okay? And that's why I'm going to take an opportunity right now. I'm going to say it again. We are here on the line with the impressive Robert Flash Kingsley. The book is entitled The Human's Universe and Its Purpose and Destiny. It's Amazon, it's Barnes and Noble, man. There's a whole host of other places, but most importantly, remember to check out his personal website, robertflashkingsley.com. It truly is your one-stop shop for everything that he has in store. And I promise you, this is one you are absolutely going to want to add to your shelf. This is one you're going to want to get your hands on, okay? You just head on over there, pick it up. See why I'm saying this, man. Robert, my follow-up question now that I want to go into, your book highlights a lot, right? But one of the really important aspects that I know we've started to kind of cover and dabble in a bit is the necessity to return to the precepts in which this nation was founded, and of course in its motto, so that we can once again become the quote-unquote torchlight of freedom to the world. And listen, man, listen, that's a big statement, Robert, okay? It is, I know it's layered, okay? I know it's nuanced, but talk to us about that statement, man. What does it mean to you? And tell us why you feel it's so important.
Well, that's very, very important for the fact that if we're going to have a very efficient future with one another as people. Our spirituality has to come to the surface. And of course, God is the origin of that. So originally, we're going to go back right now 249 years to when the Republic was founded. And at that time, the gentlemen who were able to put that together, to put something brand new Europe would not be able to compete with, they became very, very spiritual and divine and metaphysical on their own for the organizations like the Rosicrucians, the Hermetic Order, the Freemasons, which aren't like now, they were different then, but it's all very spiritual and scientific abilities to give them to design a governmental process that would be in perfect balance, absolutely suitable for everybody in every way. And also some documents to support that, and balance of church and state, and all the things put together for something that would become the torchlight of freedom for everyone to see, represented by the people who lived in it. Okay, so one of the great things about that is that they put a metaphysical triangle, a pyramid, four-sided triangle, pyramid up above Washington, D.C. The perimeter is the District of Columbia's border, which still exists. It's on the back of the $1 bill. You can see a pyramid with God's eye at the top, the Cyclops overlooking us at all times. It was put on the most common currency people handle, so there's always a constant reminder to people what they should represent. So flash forward, we come into modern times, and we're finding that all of this kind of important essence, which is God related directly to us, is not being observed very well, or they care less. But it's so important as to who we are and how the rest of the world sees us. Are we great family people? Are we great community people? Can we support each other and be great representatives of what mankind can be. Well, that has kind of changed, and that's what my problem is with the book. I wanted to be able to, elucidate that the fact is that they know, the people who read need to understand their purpose, why they're on this planet, how they got here, what they do on here, the purpose that God has given them to be here. When they leave the flesh being at some point, where do they go and why? So those kind of things help support everything they need to do for us.
Robert, listen, man, I'm in agreement with what you're saying. Although I can't help but, of course, want to point out that the fact that we understand that we live in a world that is driven by materialism, right? It is driven by conflict, unfortunately, right? So I guess my question now to you is, how do we practically apply these ideas that you're discussing to rebuild society for future prosperity, man? I mean, listen, another one, a convoluted answer that you might not be able to give in one sentence. Right? I get it, but let's at least scratch the surface here, man. Like, where do we even begin? How do we even approach that concept?
We begin with the subject of polarity, because the entire universe is based on negative and positive energy on every level of existence, from small things such as hard objects, flesh things, air. No matter what it is polarity that makes things work. It makes the construction of things happen, the chemistry of it. So the purpose of and destiny, mentioned in the book, is all based on the chemistry of the individual. The person has a positive side, which is the connection to the universe, and God creation, which they are a piece of God within them. And the other side is the negative side, is the ego that takes charge if the door is not open to God. The ego takes charge, and in 92% of the population these days, that's the case. They're greedy, selfish, they don't care, not interested in communicating and working with the total picture of helping family, all these kinds that are independent and self-serving. That's where the problem rises. They are not opening the positive side to them, the creative energy from the universe, which is accessible to us. And once done that, Jesus said, go into the closet, close the door, and meditate and think on your Creator God. That way you get to be reasonable about it. It takes a little practice, but all of a sudden you receive what we should have as humans and become well.
Listen, man. Whew. Okay, listen, people, we've covered a lot here today, okay? But I want to make sure that I point this out. We have barely scratched the surface, okay? The analogy, the image that keeps popping into my mind here, Robert, is the image of the iceberg, right? Where people, listen, the information that we've discussed here today is just the tip of that iceberg. And you see that above the surface level. Well, listen, my goodness, man, pick up this book, because once you start diving down, there is so much more information that is there. And that's why I'm going to close out by saying it once more. The book is called The Human's Universe and Its Purpose and Destiny. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, it's robertflashkingsley.com. It's been there on the screen this entire time. There's really no excuse. Head on over there, pick up your copies today, and listen and trust me when I tell you, whether you see the universe as a divine masterpiece, you see it as a scientific marvel, or you see it as a combination of both, one thing is absolutely clear. Humanity's next chapter, it hinges on an awakening to our true creative power. And trust, listen, this book, this book doesn't just challenge all debates, man, it shatters them. It offers a roadmap to a future where science and spirit fuel our evolution. So the question is, will we rise to the call, or will we continue to let division keep us stuck in the past? Man, that's a powerful question. And it's one that needs to be, if not answered, seriously acknowledged. This book is the start of that discussion. Head on over, pick up your copies today, and let's start talking, man. Let's get down to it. Robert, this has been an absolute pleasure, man. Such an honor. I really do mean that. Thank you once again. Thank you for comprising all of this fantastic information, but most importantly, man, thank you for being here with us to discuss it all through people of distinction.
Thank you.